Head Coach Ashley Preston and Courtney Roundtree, the Practice Volleyball team. And Coach, starting with you, just season ended on a pretty high note for you guys. You strung together some wins, had the first Southland tournament victory against UIW. What does that mean as far as getting some key pieces back off of that team for this year from a momentum standpoint?
Yeah, so from the spring season, it was great to have 11 players because that's the most we've ever had in spring since I've been here. And so it was great to capitalize on what we executed towards the end of the season and then just building on that in the spring to then bring in the 7 new players into our system. So super excited about that from spring, and we just added more things into what was working for us at the end of the year as well.
You've talked about the depth of this of several different positions for your team. Wanted to get you to focus on liberos and setters specifically because you have some players who were returners off of last year's team. Lenny Alamont, who was top 10 in the conference, and Diggs Brissett, of course, Daphne Charalu and Vera Bokame, but you added some depth to those 2 positions as well.
Yeah, I always like to be 3 deep in every position, at least. And so in the setter and libero position, I think it's important so that in some matches you can run a 6-2. Instead of a 5-1 if you need to. And then having Alexis here as well. She is a presence in the front row with her ability to block and also, also score as it relates to dumping the ball. So having 3 setters I think is key, but then also, like you said, having 3 liberos. So just in case I need to put 3 people back row, I have the ability to have bros that can go back row. I don't call them DSs, they're all called bros to me so that they understand they can take on that role at any time.
Yeah, several newcomers. We touched a little bit about the liberos and setters, but overall with the class that you brought in, what did you see from it? What were your goals that you looked to accomplish with the recruiting class you brought in?
I really wanted to bring in some key power hitters, especially on the pins, especially on the right side. So now we have true depth on the right side as well. And then also the hitters are interchangeable. So my outsides and right sides, I just call them pins because they can play both positions. And then also I really wanted 6 rotation, outsides and right sides, so that we can be more efficient in offense in the back row.
Courtney, just talking about the stretch that you had at the end of the season. Talk about kind of what really clicked for you, especially not just the number of kills that you were able to rack up, but the efficiency that went with it, and kind of what you felt, especially in that last stretch of the season.
I feel like it was just trust in my teammates. We'd been playing together all season now, so I was like, okay, like I know who I'm with. Like these are my people. I feel like we truly bonded, and it showed towards the end of the season. I felt amazing.
And this will be your third season here. You've gotten the front row seat to what Coach Preston has really built with this program and what's building towards as well. What are some of the things you love the most about playing for Coach Preston?
I love her culture, and I just love Coach P overall because she's just such an amazing woman, and like I love how she interacts with all of the players. Like she has a different relationship with all the players, and like me personally, like I know I can come to her when I need to, and I don't always need to be in her face. I appreciate that, but she still knows that I trust her and I trust her decisions, and I feel like that's really important.
Hey, Coach, to hear that as well from not just Courtney, but from your student athletes who are here and have been here. Certainly, what does that mean for you to be able to kind of hear that feedback about the culture that you created?
It means so much to me because it's culture, yes, is so important, and language is so important, and having your kind of crazy on a team is important, and growing and evolving a culture. So you can't just put it on a shirt and think it's cute. You have to live it every day. And once I learned that, and it really just it exemplifies the work that I do on the off season in making sure that the culture is better. So reading the books, talking to colleagues about what they do in the culture, I think it just helps manage people better. And then the cherry on top is that we get to play volleyball, And so just really helping them with their identity and just making them understand that this is just a small part of your life, and it can be great and exciting and fun, but learn the lessons throughout being a part of a team because everyone comes from all different backgrounds as well, and I love doing that as well so that we can understand and learn from each other. It's all learning. Like, we're in higher ed, so that's what college sports. I mean, college sports is about winning, of course, but the culture piece, you need to have a strong foundation for your house to be built on. And so I think that we laid the foundation from 2021, 2022 to 2023, and now this year it's going to take off.
Courtney, as you go into this season, of course, just talking about this offense and the front row and kind of what you see that could really stand out for this season from an offensive standpoint.
I'm excited. Like Coach P said, we do have some heavy hitters. And I think we've also been talking about like different things in our toolbox, like our hitting solutions and switching it up. So like even while we do have heavy hitters, you know, we have some other things, some sneaky things.
And Coach Preston has always stressed name and action as well. And just kind of talk a little bit about that and just kind of having that self-accountability on the floor.
Yeah, self-accountability. I feel like it gives a sense of trust because we are still learning, you know, each other, and it's a lot of new people. But name and action makes it very clear, and Coach P always says that clear is kind and unclear is not kind. So like having that and hearing your name and hearing, you know, an action and not just going in panic, hearing your name, I feel like it gives us clarity and gives a sense of like calm.
Coach, your schedule has always had some challenges on it. This year is certainly no different. Beyond just the obvious from a wins-loss standpoint, what do you hope to achieve in those first few weeks as you build up to conference play?
Yeah, so I always talk to them about how preseason schedule is always like the first quarter. And then the second quarter is the beginning of conference. The third quarter, of course, is the second half of conference. And then the fourth quarter is the tournament. So within this first quarter, we're still figuring it out. So these first 2 weekends, really going to see what combinations work together. Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if they don't work together, it means nothing. So really finding that within, especially this first weekend, going to Jack State, really finding that combination that really works. And it's all to carry over into conference play. Because though there's tough matches in non-conference, conference is tough. Y'all decided to bring Stephen F. Austin and UTRGV back, and they're already 1-2 in preseason. So shout out to them, though. They're great coaches.
And talk about there's one weekend in particular, which is now going to be termed Pelican Invitational, and it's going to be a crosstown deal between the University of New Orleans and Tulane. Just kind of talk about how that came about, and it's certainly going to be a busy weekend with 4 matches for you.
Yeah, that just came from me just calling Jordana and being like, hey, look, let's just work together to make a tournament happen in New Orleans that benefits us both. So just based on how the schedule is, we're not playing each other, which is kind of random that we're having a tournament, but we're not playing each other. But I like the teams that we brought in. I think it's great. And it's kind of interesting just because I was thinking about it, and I believe that it's all female head coaches, too, in this tournament. So that's kind of cool, too, because you don't see that a lot. Yeah.
And just kind of final question, Courtney, first of all, from your perspective as well, you're not a New Orleans native, but you've been here, like you said, going on your 3rd season. Yeah. And certainly kind of what does that mean to have this kind of energy for a tournament in the city and kind of crosstown hosting with a school that's about 15 minutes away, and kind of the energy that could bring as well?
I'm excited. My freshman year, we got to go to DC, and so like I went back home, kind of. So I'm excited to like see that kind of environment here in New Orleans. You know, my second home, you could say.
All right, well, Coach Preston, Courtney Roundtree, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.